Hi, I'm Jeanette from Growth Unlimited, and this is an interesting opportunity for me. I was talking to a friend of mine. Many of you may know her. She is Money Mom from YouTube. We were talking about a month ago. We like to get together about once a month and do something special together because we're both very, very busy people and we have a hard time getting with friends and having fun. So we were out together, we were having dinner, and the conversation came to being frugal. And she said to me, Jeanette, with your YouTube channel, you do a lot of things about teaching people how to take control of their lives. Have you ever thought about doing what it means to be frugal and how that can take control of your life? And my heart just plummeted. Now, Money Mom talks a lot about frugality, and she's one of the most frugal people I know, but she's not a traditionally frugal person. And I too am frugal. In fact, it's interesting because she said to me, "You are frugal. You do many things that I would consider very frugal. But why is it that you never talked about it on your channel?" And I, again, backed away. Now, I've been doing some thinking since then, and I think that talking about frugality is an important part of taking control of your life. And so I decided that we'd talk a little bit about it. But I want to tell you why it is that I have been so reluctant to get involved with the frugal movement. And there are some specific reasons that I think are important that everyone know, because whether or not you choose to be frugal these are things that can affect your life and can make your life better too. Okay, first of all, let's start by saying I think frugality is a very positive and noble thing to be involved in. Frugality, if it's done the right way, can help not only save money, but it makes you in more control of your life because you have control of what goes on. Frugality to me is not necessarily just saving money. And I don't go out and shop for the least expensive thing I can find when I want to buy something. And I don't always do things that people consider frugal. But true frugality to me is having the ability and the wisdom to use your resources in a format that allows you to do the things that you want to do and have the kind of life you want to have. Just because somebody down the street happens to buy the least expensive item on the shelf in the store doesn't mean you have to do the same thing if you want to be frugal. Rather than being a badge that you wear so that you can say, "Hey, I'm a frugal person," true frugality is a way of life. It's not even a lifestyle, it's a way of life. It's a mechanism that people who are truly frugal use to get the kind of life that they want to have. And they do it by wisely managing the resources so that the resources that they have do the very best job that can be done for what it is that they need to do. And this is highly personalized, because for every person it is different. Now tonight I want to talk a little bit about some of the reasons why I find frugality good. I also want to tell you why I don't choose to be known as somebody who is, quote, frugal, unquote. So first of all, frugality is a good thing to do, because if you are truly frugal, you are able to take control by making the decisions that you need to make in your life so that you have the resources that you need, so that you have the protection that you need for the future in case something unusual happens that you're not totally aware is going to happen right now, so that you can have the kind of life where you don't have stress and you don't have difficulty in your life. It involves managing your money and budgeting. It involves saving and investing, and involves wisely choosing what it is you choose to buy. It involves things like making a list and shopping with a list. It involves doing research when you have a major purchase so that you purchase the right item with the right features so that you can get what it is you need to have. It also involves shopping and comparing and researching and getting the best price possible for whatever it is that you are looking for. Now, the reason I don't want to be known as frugal, I'm going to talk about 3 different reasons tonight. First of all, frugal people generally have a mindset that I find unhealthy, because a frugal person is focused more on what they can't have rather than what they can do. So it isn't a power position. It's what I call a victim position. When I look at a YouTube video, for example, that's done by somebody who's talking about being frugal, quite often I see titles or verbiage in the video itself where the person is talking about the fact that they're not allowed to do something because they're frugal. Okay, first of all, anyone who is a grown-up is never in a position where they're not allowed to do something. We are all in charge of our own lives. We all make our own decisions. And by using language like "I'm not allowed," what you're doing is putting yourself out of the position of having power in your own life. And that's giving control to someone or something else. And that's not a productive management of your resources. So it's not truly being frugal. I would much rather have charge and control. So rather than thinking in terms of "I'm not allowed to do something," if I don't think it's a good idea for me, I prefer to think of it as I choose to do something different, because that puts me in a position where I have the power. Okay, another thing that disturbs me about a lot of the frugal channels and a lot of the frugal articles that I read is people talk about, they focus on getting things free. And there's nothing wrong with going out and getting the best price possible. Being a wise shopper is a wise use of your resources. However, the focus that I see and the celebration that occurs when people get something free, it seemed a little bit out of line to me. First of all, there is nothing anywhere that is truly free. Everything that is available to you in this world, somewhere, sometime, someone has paid a price for. And if you get it free, if you don't have to do anything for it, I think that's wonderful. That's super. But gloating over that and then thinking you're something special because you managed to get it free is where the problem is. That's a thought error. That's a distortion of what's actually there. And it doesn't show respect for the person who did pay the price for that item. Now, an example of that is when this is something that I run into a lot as a professional coach, and other professionals I know run into the same thing. I am running into people all the time who know me, who consider me their friend or consider me their acquaintance, that are figuring because I do what I do for a living, that it's my responsibility to solve whatever problem they may have at that given moment. And they expect me to give them the kind of advice that they would normally have to go to a coach to pay for. Now, I've seen this happen with attorneys, where people have come up and asked them for legal advice. And I have seen it happen in the case of physicians, where people have come up and asked them for medical advice. These kinds of things happen a lot with people who have certain skills and are in a certain profession. And I think in a lot of ways, it's a pretty natural process and it's understandable. And I will tell you up front, I give thousands of hours of free advice away to people just simply because it's It is who I am. But it's very, very galling to me to have someone come to me and expect me to do something like that for free. And it happens more often than I would like to see it happen. Puts me in a really awkward position because I find myself having to tell this person, somebody who is supposedly a friend of mine, that if they want that kind of service, they're going to have to book a session with me and pay for the time. Because that's what I do for a profession. And it is my right to be able to earn a living with what I do for a profession. Especially because, and I've had people actually get upset with me when that happened, telling me, well, it doesn't cost me anything to give them the advice. But what they're not looking at is that it does. First of all, they are not looking at the thousands of hours and the thousands and tens of thousands of dollars that I have spent to get that training. And it's very, very abusive and derogatory towards me to think that all of that effort and all of that time is just there for their personal use. I don't know of anyone who would be willing to put that kind of time in and then just give it away, because it's just not a fair thing to expect. And yet it's something that is a pretty common thing, especially, and a lot of the people that do this, now there are some who are not considering themselves frugal, but this is a pretty typical behavior that I have found with people who identify themselves as practicing a frugal lifestyle. So getting something for free is great if it's offered to you. But if you are actively going out and looking for that and expecting it just simply because you choose to be frugal, then it's out of line. Anything that you get is worth paying for if it's worth it to you to have it. And quite frankly, I know a lot of people who have received free services and free merchandise, some of it from me, that actually get no benefit out of it whatsoever because they have no investment in it themselves. So that's a piece of it you need to be aware of too. If you are not investing in it, if you are not putting the effort and putting some skin in the game, then you're not going to get the full benefit out of it. Okay, the third thing that has bothered me about being identified as being frugal is I don't want people to look at me like I think I'm something special, just simply because I like to save money. It's like people put a badge on saying, I'm frugal, I'm special. Well, sorry, you're not. You're just another person trying to get through life, just like everybody else. And yes, it is laudable. It is something that's a good thing to do, to be frugal and do the things that are helping you be frugal. But it is not something that makes you better than anybody else. And when you have that kind of attitude, and you pass that kind of attitude on other people by judging them if they don't do what you think that they should do, or you tell them that they're not being frugal because they didn't do what you would do in a certain situation, that's the kind of impression that I don't want to be aligned with, and I don't want to be recognized with that way. So basically, I choose not to be identified as frugal. On the other hand, I do very many of the things that are frugal. And in future videos in the series, I'm going to be talking about some of those things. I'd like to invite you to join me to learn how to save money and take control of your life. And we're going to show you how to do this. I'm going to be posting at least one video a week talking about different areas that I have in my life used what most people call frugality to save money. And I'd love to have you join me when you do. So if you'd like to find out more about it, please subscribe and then share this video with your friends, because I'd love to show you all how to be what I call, oh shoot, I just lost the phrase. Instead of being calling myself frugal, I would much rather be known as successful. And look at the video title and you're going to see the phrase that I'm going to be using. But what we're going to do is change the mindset that goes with the frugal movement to one that is empowering and helps you take control of your life. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye now.